You see, with the amount of money being spent currently in the transfer window, you begin to wonder, where are we going to in football, seriously? You see, with the amount of money some of these players go for in this transfer window, you begin to wonder if some of all these players were there in 2009, they will go for like 20 something million pounds or 30 something million pounds. Now, let's take, for example, the Elliot Anderson's move from Nottingham Forest to Manchester City. Elliot Anderson, is he a good player? Yes, he's a good player. But is he worth the 150 million pounds that Manchester City paid Nottingham Forest for him? No, he's not worth that amount. And why was he worth that amount? Because maybe they feel he's a British player and they want to break the British transfer record. You see, this transfer window now in this generation, especially in 2026, is dead and gone. In 2009, Elliot Anderson will go for around 30, 35 million pounds. That is a record transfer, that's a record transfer for a midfielder. Because before, midfielders don't cost much. If you want to see a player cost 50 million pounds and above, then it's an attacker or a striker. But right now, we are seeing even defenders going for 80 to 90 million pounds. That's to show you that the transfer market is dead. Seriously. Okay, now look at PSG. PSG are not telling Liverpool that they value Bakola at 170 million euros. That should around 150 million pounds. Can you beat that? Because maybe they have now seen Manchester City spend that whooping 115 for Elliot Anderson. They have seen Real Madrid now spend 100 million pounds for Diomande. So, can you, if you're a team, are you not going to exploit or try to tap into what the market value is now? Because Bakola, I think, is almost running out of his contract. And if anybody wants to get him, so far he has not put pen to paper, I think they will get him around 60, 70 million pounds. Yes, he's a youngster, kudos to him, but he's not that influential in PSG the way Desire Do is. So let us just tell ourselves the truth. So for him to be going for that amount, now PSG telling Liverpool that they want to sell him for 170 million euros, that is suicidal if you ask me. Where are we going to the transfer market? You see, I don't blame Manchester United, who have decided that they don't want to spend big on players anymore. What they just want to do is just buy the players they can afford. They don't want to buy big names again. They just want to buy the players they can afford. Who wants to play for the badge? Who wants to play for the team? Because there have been culprits of this in buying the likes of Paul Pogba for around 89 million pounds, but it didn't work out. It didn't really work out. So they don't want to be spending big on players anymore. We have seen so many transfers, big money transfers, even the likes of Anthony and all of them fail because they don't want what the money the club sell them. But the Ayers did Manchester United what they call Yahoo Yahoo, selling Anthony for 80 million pounds. Imagine. Anthony is not worth more than 30 million pounds. But what happened? You see, if you ask me for my own suggestion, I think it is time that things begin to go back to the youth system. Let us build the academy. Players are too expensive now. See, in 2009, if you have 100 million pounds, you can buy a club. But now, if you want to buy a club, you can't have less than 1.5 billion pounds. That is the way it is moving. And this transfer may even be affecting the economy. Because right now in Nigeria, in 2009, you can buy bread at 100 naira. Now the least bread you have is 500 naira. So you can see that things are going up, 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 up all around the world. And the transfer market is a real culprit, if you ask me. So many players who are average now go for 100 million pounds. That is suicidal, if you ask me.